I talk, you listen. Welcome to my one-man panel of madness. Hey everyone, it's Dr. Jiahu back again after episode 2. You know, I've got to say, and I don't know if this is just the curse of Doctor Who, but it seems that every one of the Doctor's last season tends to be their best one. And for the love of me, I don't understand how this happens. You know, it's like if you're writing good television, you're writing good television. Why is it that it always happens, at least with Doctor Who, during its final seasons of last season of that specific actor? You know, not many people, there were some people who weren't very, friendly towards Peter Capaldi as a doctor, which I don't see why. I know he's my favorite. But the last season gave, him a really good send-off, but also a lot of fans became convinced that Peter Capaldi was a really good doctor. My favorite season for David Tennant is Series 4 with Donna Noble. I thought that's one of my favorite seasons. The same with Matt Smith. It seemed like the last season had some really good stories and a good send-off as well for him. So what is it about Doctor Who in the last season? But I gotta say, so far I'm really enjoying. I've really enjoyed the first episode, part 1. Part 2 also had it had nods to the Third Doctor. The Sontarans were again sort of reminded me of Time Warrior. It was a Third Doctor story, and just a lot of the story, the way that the Doctor acted was very, for lack of a better word, doctory. And as I was watching with my partner, it's like we both agreed, wow, she's now become the Doctor. Why did it take this long for us to feel that way? And sometimes it could just be the simple fact that we know that their last season is their last season, so we may not be as judgmental. Maybe we're a lot more open to the episodes, but I've got to say I really did enjoy, having the Sontarans come in. I'm also liking the idea of the subplots, like all these little stories going on within the main plot. You had Dan, spoilers if you haven't watched it yet, so don't listen anymore. But Dan going off on his own, and with Krabanista, I always say his name wrong, Krabanista, whatever his name is, the dog. That was pretty cool that they joined up together. And Yaz and Vinder, we have Swarm and Azure. So all this stuff is going on. And the TARDIS, it's starting to worry me, where we're going with the TARDIS and what could potentially be wrong. Now, obviously, they're on the planet Time, which did bring up a question. If the Time Lords were the Lords of Time, why were they not on the planet Time? Okay, so bear with me. What were those? That's what I'm trying to connect. How the Time Lords and the planet Time, or are we going to find out that planet Time was actually the Time Lords? Maybe it could be where the Doctor really came from. I mean, there's so many different ways to go with this. That it is interesting. I think that's what's keeping everybody excited, is that there is a lot of excitement. There's a lot of little pieces of information that we keep getting with each episode, and it's just building it up. It's like the mystery's being built. So I'm really, really enjoying how they're doing that this season. Now, even the very beginning, from the very start, going black and white, I thought that was cool. There was something very dream style about it. And her reaching for that house, which a lot of fans are calling that is very similar to the story Longbarrow, which was a published novel. It was originally a story. I believe it was Mark Platt who wrote the story for for Sylvester McCoy, but it was not used. Instead, it was turned into a whole different story. And the book then came out, which explained that, Time Lords are grown in looms, very similar to the Man of Steel movies that Zack Snyder did, where everybody's kind of grown. And, there's kind of a parallel between the two. I'm sad to say this, I've only read half of the Longbarrow book. I never have been able to read it fully. The reason is I have a digital copy that I purchased, and it's like all over the place. It's not like in chapters and stuff, so it's very hard to keep up with the story. But from what I've read, it's very interesting. That the Doctor goes back to see what's going on with his quote unquote family, his cousins, and so forth, and the interesting connections between Omega, the Other, and Razalon. So, we'll see, because anything can happen at this point with Doctor Who. I think we're starting to somehow intertwine the whole storyline with the Timeless Child into what's happening now with Swarm and who he potentially is. I know there's rumors that he is a Time Lord, that the Doctor has something to do with his capture. So it's very interesting to see where all of this is going. I am concerned about the TARDIS and what is happening to the poor thing. Could the whole thing with time breaking down have something to do with it? We'll see. But I gotta say, I really enjoyed hearing Dan Starkey. If you watched the episode, his voice was very prominent. I think he was the voice of multiple Sontarans, which is kind of nice. A nice little tribute to him, because, he's Strax. He'll always be Strax. So it's kind of cool that he's in there. And I think these versions of the Sontarans are a lot more darker. It's almost like little potato Klingons, and I hate saying it that way, but that's kind of what they are. They're almost very Klingon in a way, ruthless, and not that they weren't in the earlier renditions or the earlier versions of the Centaurs, but there was something comedic about them. And like when the 10th Doctor met with them, and when Strax and 11 had any interaction, I mean, it was comedic and it was joking. So it's nice to see these kind of more ruthless warmongers, as I believe Chris Chibnall referred to them as warmongers. So yeah, I gotta say, I've got to give this. I think this episode out of 5, I'm definitely gonna give it a 4. I'm holding off for that 5 because I know it's coming. We're gonna get a 5-star episode coming up. It's sad though, we're almost on our 3rd episode, and then after that we'll have 3 more, and then the holiday special. But yeah, I definitely think that this last season might just be her best. I mean, a lot of fans are already saying that. Even people who did not like Jodie, or who don't even like Jodie at all as the Doctor, are saying, yeah, this one's kind of giving us a little bit more to kind of work with and see her shine more as a Doctor. So that's all I have. Let's see what happens now with the Chapter 3 and get more answers as to what's going on. What's happening with the TARDIS, and what's the Swarm guy and Azure? What are they trying to do? So I gotta say, I do love their outfits though. Their makeup and their costumes, they make villains look good. I mean, they just look really, really good. So we'll see what happens next. All right. Until next time.